Hey guys, Luke here. Today we're going to be looking at my board and changing around some settings because while I am generally the electric guitarist for our church, this week I'm actually playing bass for our youth group band. Now I've only played bass for church stuff like once or twice at this point, but I have a lot of fun doing it, so I asked if I could come and do it again because I usually don't get to and I want to get better. So this time we're doing that, but that means I have to change around my board settings to configure it for bass, get some better bass sounds out of it. Now, the first step of this is going to be changing amps on the ToneX, which is as simple as this. I'm just kidding. I'll show you how I did it.
Alright, so we've got the ToneX plugged into my computer via USB-C, which is great because USB-C, all the things, please. You can see, we'll go to the librarian, we've got it hooked up, we're in the ToneX software here. What you can see here on my B preset is the CD Tyler flip-flop. I honestly only went for this amp because I know very little about bass amps, and my favorite band ever is called Colony House. So I was watching a video about Park Cottrell, their bass player, about his gear setup, and he said he used a bass amp from Tyler Amps. So I went here to ToneNet, selected bass over here in the instrument section, and then searched Tyler. Would you look at that? Wow, there are quite a few now. Last I looked, there was like one here. Oh, here we go. Bass. I had unselected bass. There we go. There's one bass amp, and it's the one that I'm using here. And then it's as simple as dragging and dropping it right there and saving it in there. I have different settings set up a little bit. Actually, I probably don't. I think I just have the volume cranked, so I'm not going to overwrite it. But yeah, so you just got that right there. And then you can see over here, my A preset is my 64 AC30 from worship tutorials that I use for guitar. And then this over here on the stomp mode, I have my deluxe reverb preset that I was using for the longest time, just in case I feel like reverting back to that if the AC30 just doesn't feel like it's working, because I haven't used that one a whole lot yet. So it's over there on the stomp preset, just in case I need it.
Alright, so before we go any further on the actual board setting, we should probably talk about the bass that I am using. So this is a J-style bass from Johnson Basses, which is a company I had never heard of before. But the thing is, this bass is really crazy, because, we'll see if the focus will change, this cost $25 at a Goodwill. You can still see the sticker on the headstock. We left it on there, on purpose actually. So this is a $25 thrift store bass that when we picked it up, had fresh strings on it. Like these are perfectly playable strings. This is, I don't know if it was set up before it was given to Goodwill or what, but it plays remarkably nicely. The action is about as low as I would want it for a bass, I think. I mean, maybe a little lower, but it plays super comfortably. The neck feels really nice. The finish on it is really, really smooth. And Johnson is apparently a company that just specializes in making cheap basses. So it wasn't super expensive before it was given to Goodwill, and then we got it for really cheap. Now the downfall of this instrument is definitely the electronics. The pickups are fine. Pickups are actually, on them they say Johnson EMG, because while they're manufactured by Johnson, they actually paid EMG to design their pickups. And if you know anything about EMG, you know they make a lot of pickups, especially bass pickups and like active bass pickups. So these are still passive pickups, but EMG designed them for Johnson to manufacture. Now the actual pots are the problem here, and the wiring. Because if I leave all of these pots just set to 10, don't turn them at all, it's fine, no issues. If I turn any of them remotely at all, we get buzz, we get hum, we get problems. So I just don't touch those, planning on replacing the wiring and the pots in this as soon as I possibly can. But considering how cheap this instrument was for us to get it, crazy. Crazy how good this is. So we're over here on a board view now, so you can see all of the pedals, so you can see what I'm changing in my settings. So we have the Tyler amp going on, the ToneX down here. Now the issue I've been having with this so far, just right off the bat, I haven't tweaked anything on it. Let's turn this comp off for right now. But I'm getting a pretty significant volume reduction between this and the AC30 preset that's on here. So you can see this is what it sounds like on the Tyler amp. And then if I switch over to this one, there's a good bit more volume. Now that's a guitar amp setup, not a bass amp setup. So we'll switch back. Now I think we could just crank the volume, but I don't think that's gonna do it for this amp setting. Yeah, that helped very little. So let's go hit the Alt button on the ToneX and gain it up a good bit, and then see if that helps us. There's a little bit of volume back.
There we go. So we're pretty much at the same volume now. So my output will be about where I want it to be. So we'll leave it right there. I like that sound. And also, this is just a really nice, clean bass amp sound, I think. Yeah, I like that. So let's work from here. We've got a solid spot to work forward from. So first, let's turn on the comp. I use this as an always-on pedal for my guitar rig, and it wouldn't surprise me if I do here too, to bring up my quieter areas there, especially, and give me some more sustain. The bass typically has a good bit of sustain. Gives me a nice bit of punch. So let's leave those settings there for right now and see if we need to change them later. Now let's start looking at some drives. I think we're not going to have to touch really the modulation or the reverb section. Probably not going to use a whole lot of that. We might use this light plate reverb a little bit, but probably not much. But let's look at this, see what we can get out of the Nauticlon as far as drive sounds go. So that kind of does what the Klon usually does for me, which is kind of act as a cleaner boost sound. But let's try to use this as a real drive pedal. Let's kind of crank this gain up like a lot. Bring this volume down to kind of match that and see what we've got. Okay, so let's bring that volume down a little more and boost that treble a little bit to bring out a little more of the high end in the bass. The thing about this, the Nauticlon, the volume does not have to be very high if the gain is high at all. You can get a ton of output from this pedal. So let's see. And that sounds nice. I'm not a huge fan of what I'm getting from this, so let's see what we can do with the OD300, the overdrive distortion. Okay, so that's a little messy, I think, a little scratchy. So we can also hear all of those slides across the strings heavily. Now part of that's going to be the comp, but I think we can adjust that a little bit. Let's look at these drive settings here and see what we can do. So let's bring up the drive and switch this a little off of the distortion mode over towards the overdrive. Bring up the level maybe a little bit and the tone up a little bit from where it usually is and see what we're getting from there. Okay, not bad. Let's see if we can get something a little crunchier out of that for those like really big moments in some songs. Turn up that drive a little more. I think the level's okay. Let's see what we can get from there. Okay, that's pretty good. I do kind of like that sound. I think we can work with that pretty easily. But I think what we're gonna do, let's try pulling down the sustain of this and bring up the level a little bit on the comp to see if we can get rid of some of those scratches as I'm sliding across the fretboard. Let's see. Not great still. Let's see what we can do. That's still pretty scratchy, so let's see if we can do anything else there. Take that sustain down just a little more, bring the level up a little more. There's also only so much you can do with a higher gain pedal like this, but let's see here. Okay, not too bad. I think we can work with this. I think we'll have to work with the slides, but that's all right. But there is one more thing that I think I want to try. I think the last thing I want to try for my gain sounds is this thing. And this is a DoD FX250B. I used to have this on my board, and then when I got the Nauticlon, I kind of kicked it off because I don't like this drive sound for guitar a whole lot. But from what I hear, if you crank this into this little boost area here, or even at least close to it, it makes a really nice fuzzy sound. And I'm a big fan of fuzz on bass. I don't love it on guitar a lot, but I really do like the sound of it on bass. So I'm interested to see what I can get out of this for this setup that I'm using right now. I did try a fuzz pedal that was a friend of mine's.
I wasn't getting anything that I liked from that specific pedal. It was a JHS cheese ball, at least for bass. So let's try this out. Alright, so they're just kind of stuck on there wildly right now. I'll arrange them if I actually do decide to use this. So let's go ahead and see what kind of sounds we can get out of this. Turn off the Behringer, and let's dive in. Okay, that's back to our compressed clean sound. There's a little more hum. I'll have to figure out the power stuff if I do use this. But anyway, let's go here. So turn on the DOD. That is going to be loud. Let's turn down that level right away. Okay, let's give it a little more volume, I think. Yeah, because I'm actually losing volume now. All right, let's see what that's like here. I think I really like that sound for some higher gain bass sound. Let's turn down this tone a little bit. Take a little of the treble out of that. I think I like where I have that gain right now. Pretty much set straight to the right. Let's see if that helps a little bit. And this one also brings out those scratches a little less. So I think we might actually use this. I haven't really used this since I got the Nauticlon on here. But I think for bass, it might do it. Now, the last thing I'll look at is just some like modulation, some chorus, and maybe that plate reverb, see if we're gonna use that at all. Because I can get down with some bass chorus, but let's see what we're working with from here. Okay, not too bad. Now, this is generally a subtle chorus, so I'm wondering if I turn up the depth a little bit. Turn up the depth, raise the rate a tad. Leave the level about where it is. Let's see what we get. Yeah, that's a nice little chorus sound for this bass. I think we'll stick with that. So now let's check out the reverb, see if I even will use that. Probably not on a bass, but put that with the chorus there. Okay, you know, honestly, leaving that reverb setting right where it is with the plate reverb kind of set pretty subtly, I think I like that. I think if I do use it, that'll be right around where it should sit. All right, so thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me work on all of my drives and my pedal sounds to make it sound really good with bass. I don't have any bass-specific pedals or any kind of thing to use like that, so I am working with what I got, like I usually do. I would love to put together a bass board. I have plans to do that, but this is working really great for now. Just working with the pedals that I have and changing around as many settings as I can. One thing to note about this, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna take your electric board and use it to play bass, take a picture of your settings first, or at least have them memorized, so that after you have messed up all of the settings on all of your pedals to play bass with them, you can get them right back to where you like them to play electric guitar, which is what I'm going to have to do tomorrow come time for our rehearsal for Sunday mornings. But thanks again so much for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe and share if you would be willing, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.